Greetings, seekers of growth and courage, and a warm welcome to the Morale. Have you ever wondered why some people take massive leaps in life, while others hesitate even over small steps? Why do some make bold decisions without fear, while others overthink every move? Is risk-taking an inborn gift, or can it be learned? Risk, the invisible thread woven through every part of life, is something we can't avoid, whether we like it or not. The real question is, what's the right way to take a risk? Is it luck, destiny, or is there actual science behind it? That's what this book, The Art of Risk by Kayt Sukel, explores, the fascinating neuroscience behind courage, decision-making, and fear. This isn't just a book, it's a blueprint for mastering life's most unpredictable moments. It shows that risk-taking isn't reserved for daredevils or thrill-seekers. It's a skill, one that anyone can develop with awareness and practice. Whether you're building a business, advancing your career, or simply trying to make a bold personal decision, success demands risk. But there's a critical difference between smart risk and reckless risk. And according to this book, our ability to tell them apart lies deep within the structure of our brain. Every time we face uncertainty, our brain begins a silent calculation. Is this risk safe? What's the potential reward? Can I handle failure? And depending on that internal math, we either move forward or freeze. The fascinating part is that not all brains calculate risk the same way. Some people are naturally more daring, while others lean toward caution. The reason lies in how three key systems in the brain interact. 1. The amygdala, the alarm bell. This is the brain's built-in danger detector. Whenever we sense risk, standing on a cliff edge, making a major investment, or starting something new, the amygdala sends an alert. Stop. This could be dangerous. That sudden jolt of fear, the tension in your chest, that's the amygdala at work. 2. The prefrontal cortex, the thinker. Once the amygdala sounds the alarm, the prefrontal cortex steps in. It's the logical, analytical part of your brain. It reviews past experiences, weighs pros and cons, and decides whether the risk is truly worth it. If it finds the reward justified, it quiets the amygdala and gives you permission to move ahead. This balance between fear and reason determines whether we act or retreat. 3. The dopamine system, the motivator. Dopamine is the feel-good chemical that fuels motivation and excitement. When you take a risk and succeed, dopamine floods your system, creating a sense of thrill and accomplishment. That's why risk-takers often crave that feeling again. It's literally addictive. But there's a dark side. An overactive dopamine system can lead to reckless decisions. Gambling, extreme stunts, or impulsive spending. Some people's brains are more dopamine sensitive, which is why they chase high-risk situations repeatedly, even at personal cost. So, can we control this? Can we train our brains to take the right risks, not too safe, not too wild? The answer, according to this book, is yes. By understanding how these three systems work together, we can learn to manage fear, think logically under pressure, and channel dopamine in productive ways. Risk-taking isn't random or purely instinctive. It's a biological and psychological process we can master. Smart risk-takers strike a perfect balance between instinct, experience, and analysis. They don't act without thought, but they don't freeze from fear either. So the next time you face a big decision, pause and ask yourself, is it your amygdala trying to hold you back? Is your prefrontal cortex carefully analyzing the facts? Or is your dopamine system pushing you toward excitement without caution? Understand that balance, and you'll understand risk itself. Because risk, at its core, is not chaos. It's an art. And like any art, it can be learned, practiced, and perfected. Have you ever seen people who don't hesitate to jump from heights, race a high speed, or invest millions in a new business ideas without blinking an eye? We tend to call them fearless, as if fear doesn't exist for them. But that's not true. No one in the world is completely free from fear. The real difference lies not in feeling fear, but in handling it. Every human brain is wired to react when risk appears. Our heartbeat quickens, palms grow sweaty, and a quiet voice inside says, "Stop, this could be dangerous." That voice comes from the amygdala, our brain's ancient alarm system. It has protected us for millions of years, keeping us alert to danger. So, the next time you feel anxious before taking a big step, don't see it as weakness. It's a sign that you're pushing your limits. Feeling fear means your brain is awake, alert, and preparing you for growth. Fear isn't the enemy. Avoiding opportunity because of fear is. Fearlessness is a myth, but learning to manage fear is a skill. And mastering that skill changes everything. Have you ever noticed how, in the same situation, one person steps forward confidently while another hesitates? Or how two entrepreneurs start similar businesses, yet one thrives while the other freezes at the first sign of difficulty? That's because each of us has a different threshold for risk. It isn't fixed. It grows like climbing a ladder. Every time we take a risk and succeed, our brain records that success. It builds confidence and prepares us for the next challenge. But when we avoid risks repeatedly, our self-belief weakens. Eventually, even small decisions start to feel terrifying. Think of a child learning to ride a bicycle. At first, she wobbles, falls, and wants to quit. But once she manages to ride a few meters without falling, her brain releases a signal of success. That memory fuels her confidence to go a little faster, a little further. Within days, she's riding freely without fear. That's the risk ladder in action. Progress through small, consistent steps. If the child had quit after her first fall, she would have never learned. The same principle applies to life. Suppose you're afraid of public speaking. You can't expect to speak confidently to thousands of people overnight. But you can start small, speak to one friend, then a small group, then a team meeting. Each small success moves you one step higher on your risk ladder. Every great risk taker you've ever heard of, every explorer, every business leader climbed this same ladder. No one becomes bold in a single day. Every big decision, every breakthrough begins with a small, deliberate risk. That's why some people seem naturally calm under pressure. They've trained themselves through experience. They've conditioned their brains to see risk not as danger, but as opportunity. If you're afraid of taking risks, you don't need to leap into something huge. Just take the next small step. Challenge yourself in little ways. Step slightly outside your comfort zone. Because the truth is simple. If you always stay in the safe zone, nothing changes. But if you climb your risk ladder one step at a time, you'll eventually reach heights that once seemed impossible. Risk is like a ladder. Each step builds courage for the next. The only question is, are you ready to take the first one? Now think about this. Is risk taking a gift that only certain people are born with, or a skill that anyone can learn? We often assume that risk takers, from fearless entrepreneurs to extreme athletes, possess some secret power. But the truth is, risk-taking is not magic, it's training. When we look closely, every skilled risk-taker prepares their mind and body to respond intelligently in high-pressure moments. It's not luck, and it's not blind courage, it's preparation. Take firefighters, for example. They don't rush into burning buildings without thought. They've studied how fire spreads, practiced how to move, and trained to react calmly. When danger appears, their brain already knows what to do. That's why they can take enormous risks safely. This is training for risk, the process of preparing your brain, so it can make calm, calculated decisions even under stress. It's the same in business. If you plan to invest in a new venture, you don't just throw money at it. You research the market, study competitors, analyze data, talk to experts, and then act strategically. That's a calculated risk, informed, not impulsive. That's what separates smart risk takers from reckless ones. They don't eliminate fear, they organize it. They gather information, set boundaries, and move forward with clarity. When risk meets preparation, it becomes power. Right preparation, right knowledge, And right execution, this is the foundation of smart risk-taking. And among all these, one factor matters the most: exposure. If something scares you, you must face it repeatedly until your brain stops seeing it as a threat. When a firefighter first enters a burning building, his body may panic, heartbeat racing, mind overwhelmed, but with enough exposure and repeated drills, that same environment becomes normal. His brain rewires itself to handle the chaos calmly. That is the secret. Every time you expose yourself to fear, it loses its power. This is true in every field of life, from business to relationships, from public speaking to adventure. If you keep avoiding discomfort, your fear grows stronger. But if you walk into it again and again, it starts to shrink. Your mind learns, this is not danger, this is growth. The second tool for mastering risk is simulation, practicing risk before it's real. Pilots do this every day. Before flying passengers across continents, they train in flight simulators where turbulence, storms, and emergencies can be recreated safely. Doctors use virtual simulations to prepare for complex surgeries. Athletes visualize their performance repeatedly before stepping into the arena. These rehearsals are not games. They are rewiring sessions for the brain. When your mind has already experienced a challenge many times, your body reacts with calmness when it truly happens. Your heart rate stays steady. Your decisions stay sharp. Fear has less control, and that leads to a powerful truth. Anyone can become a smart risk taker. It doesn't matter where you start from. If you train your mind, expand your experience, and build exposure step by step, you can handle pressure like the best in the world. So, ask yourself, are you ready to train for your next risk? Now, think about this. Before taking a big decision, have you ever felt a quiet voice inside saying, do this, it's right, or something's off, stay away? That voice, the one that speaks without logic or data, is intuition. And the world's most successful risk takers rely on it more than anything else. Intuition isn't magic. It's the brain's most powerful decision-making tool, one we often underestimate. It helps us sense things that logic alone can't explain quickly enough. When an experienced doctor correctly guesses a diagnosis without waiting for lab results. When an investor feels confident about a company others doubt. When a soldier senses hidden danger before it appears, that's intuition at work. Here's how it actually functions. Every experience you've ever had is stored deep within your subconscious mind. When you face a new situation, your brain instantly scans all those old memories and patterns. Without conscious analysis, it sends you a feeling, yes, this is safe, or no, this feels wrong. That signal is your intuition speaking. For example, imagine you're walking through an unfamiliar city and see two streets. One is bright and lively. The other is dark and empty. Without thinking, your mind tells you which path is safer. That's not superstition, it's pattern recognition built from years of stored experience. Risk-taking works the same way. A professional poker player senses when an opponent is bluffing. A seasoned stock trader feels the market shifting before the data confirms it. An athlete moves instinctively in a split second and makes the perfect play. They're not guessing, they're using sharpened intuition built through repetition. The more experiences you gather, the stronger your intuition becomes. But there's a catch: intuition isn't always right. Sometimes our past experiences create wrong patterns, leading to poor judgment. That's why intuition must be balanced with logic. Use intuition to guide you, but verify it with reasoning, facts, and evidence. This is how the best decision makers operate. They don't ignore their instincts, but they cross-check them before acting. The greatest advantage of intuition is speed. When time is short and pressure is high, logic can't process fast enough. Your intuitive brain, however, already knows what to do because it has seen this pattern before. That's why experienced people make faster, better decisions under pressure. Their intuition is already trained. So here's the real lesson. Intuition is a superpower, but like every power, it must be developed. The more you explore, fail, learn, and adapt, the sharper it becomes. Each new experience trains your subconscious. Each mistake refines your instincts. And once your intuition becomes strong, you can make quick, confident, and accurate decisions even in the most uncertain situations. So ask yourself, are you ready to unlock your intuitive power? Have you ever wondered why some people take bold risks in any situation, while others hesitate even at the smallest challenge? Some can jump from heights, race through dangerous tracks, or invest millions in bold ideas, while others overthink even the safest choices. Why does this happen? Is risk-taking a habit, a skill, or simply a part of personality? Risk-taking is not just a behavior, it's part of who we are. Every person's capacity for risk is different, shaped by the way their brain, psychology, and experiences work together. Some people have a highly active dopamine system, which pulls them toward thrill and excitement. That's why they're naturally drawn to adventure, business challenges, or anything that promises novelty. Their brain rewards them for chasing what's new. Others have a more cautious system. Their brain tells them to analyze, to play safe, to stay in control. They aren't cowards, they're wired for stability. Kelvin W. Nathan explains that risk-taking personalities fall broadly into 3 types. High-risk takers thrive on uncertainty. They feel alive when facing the unknown and often chase experiences that push boundaries. Moderate risk takers make calculated decisions. They assess, plan, and then leap when the time feels right. Low-risk takers prefer stability. They find comfort in safety and dislike unpredictable outcomes. But here's the real truth. Risk-taking personality isn't fixed. It's flexible. It evolves with our habits, environment, and experience. If you're naturally cautious, you can still learn to take smart risks. When you repeatedly face small challenges and handle them successfully, your brain starts to normalize risk. Fear fades, confidence grows. Similarly, if you're an impulsive risk taker, you can train yourself to calculate better, pause before reacting, and avoid unnecessary losses. Understanding your risk-taking type gives you power, the power to grow. When you recognize your natural tendencies, you can adjust your decisions. If you tend to overthink, take small, manageable risks to expand your comfort zone. If you act too fast, slow down and analyze. Real success comes from balance, from knowing when to take a leap and when to step back. Kelvin calls this self-calibration. It's what separates those who gamble from those who master the art of decision-making. Risk is not a random event. It's a skill, one that can be learned, trained, and mastered. It's deeply tied to how your brain processes information, how your emotions respond, and how your past experiences guide your instincts. Throughout this book, we've learned how our brain calculates risk, how fear can be managed, and how small, deliberate risks create major breakthroughs. The Art of Risk shows that anyone can become a smart risk-taker with the right mindset and the right strategy. The world's top entrepreneurs, investors, and leaders aren't fearless, they're trained. They understand that risk is not the enemy of success, but the bridge to it. They step out of comfort, analyze danger, and still move forward, not because they're reckless, but because they're ready. They know that risk is not a coin toss, it's an art form. The more you understand it, the more skillfully you can play the game of life. So, whether it's your career, a new business, or a bold personal choice, stop running from risk. Learn to study it, plan for it, and use it. Risk is the gate between an ordinary life and an extraordinary one. Every great transformation starts when someone decides to take that one uncertain step forward. So the next time you face a big decision, ask yourself, is this risk worth taking? And if the answer is yes, how can I take it smartly? Because the truth is, you don't need to be fearless, you just need to be prepared. And remember, silence, focus, and courage are all connected. Once you understand your mind, master your fear, and act with purpose, no risk will ever be too big. If this journey inspired you, share it forward. Like, subscribe, and stay connected with The Morale, where books speak and ideas come alive. See you in the next episode with a new book, a new mindset, and another step toward your best self.